Welcome, Raider fans. This is Ben Diggle coming to you from the depths of A Building here at East Peoria Community High School. Here with the Raider Sports Report this week. It's a very busy week in Raider athletics. Flying solo tonight because neither Coach Bowman nor Coach Wright or Coach Johns was available. A lot of stuff going on. So we are going to fly solo, but the coaches were kind enough to film their interviews beforehand, so I'll be here to introduce the clips and take you through the week that was in Raider athletics. A very big week, some great successes. Girls basketball is on a 2-game running streak. Perhaps even more importantly is the fact that the wrestling team won a regional title, all of which we'll get to later. But first, some highlights from the boys' game at Canton on Saturday night. Coach Doug Martin was kind enough to put these together for us. Very up and down game, as you'll see here. Final score was 93-89 Canton. East Peoria actually led this game by 8. Nice pass from Ryan Slusher there to Michael Thompson. Raiders are going to inbound it here under their own basket again. And you're going to see a very nice ball movement here from Sean Mulhern driving to the hoop. Sean, you will actually not see Sean make a basket in this highlight, but Sean did finish with 37 points. Nice three-pointer there by Carson Buckley. Carson had 10. But the big story of the night was Sean Mulhern. Nice kick from Aaron Scully there to Hayden Burtis for a three-pointer. A lot of Raiders involved in this game. Here's Scully with another nice look ahead to Ryan Slusher for a run out. Ryan had a season-high 17 points. So really good things for Matt Wright to grow on, and he'll talk more about those in the interview following. Nice steal and a putback there by Mike Thompson. Raiders were really, really getting up and down with this. Canton, of course, a great block there by Carson Buckley. And that is something that has become very, very commonplace this winter. Great to see the Buckley twins growing. Really great to see this team growing as a whole. It's been fascinating to watch the evolution of this team as Matt Wright has sought to kind of weld them into a team. Nice tip pass there from Sean Mulhern to Carson Buckley over to Ryan Slusher. Ryan getting a lot of airtime in this highlight, and that's because he had one of his best games so far. Nice no-look there by Michael Thompson over to Slusher again on the weak side. Raiders just doing a great job. Shame they had to lose this ball game. Led by 8 going to the fourth, but again, Canton just used its depth, and Raiders ran into some foul trouble. 3 players fouled out, including both Buckley twins and Ryan Slusher. So it's just a little too much late, but 93-89, and I think we can all agree after watching Raider basketball this year, and of course if you've been following along in the papers, 89 points, that's a 3-game stretch at some points for this team. So clearly this team is growing and beginning to find itself, and just some really nice work there. So there we have the highlights again. Thanks to Coach Doug Martin for going into huddle and breaking those down for us. As I said, the Raiders are coming off a tough week. Lost at Canton on Saturday night. Prior to that, they lost 69-41 to Metamora on Friday. Matt Wright is here to talk to us about both games, what he saw against Metamora, and then the improvements he saw against Canton. So without further ado, let's hear from Coach Wright. I am here with Raiders coach Matt Wright. Coach, coming off pair of Middle Illini Conference games over the weekend. First, let's start with Metamora. You know, we talked about it, played them pretty close again for a quarter, but yeah, just something over those final 3 quarters, they let them pull away a little bit.
Yeah, we really played in transition with them a little bit early in the game, and I thought that we were getting a lot of pretty quality looks. We just didn't finish real well in the first half. Second half, we more settled for some outside shots that we just weren't knocking down. Drastically different from the first time that we played them, I thought, in the fact that the first time that we played them, they just turned us over. And it was just, we couldn't even get any shots up. But on Friday night, we actually, we got plenty of shot attempts. We were, and good ones, and we just didn't knock them down. That was really, I know that score-wise, it doesn't feel any better to still have that end result like it was, but I sleep a lot better at night when we got the ball down the floor, we got the shots that we needed, as opposed to not even getting shots at all, like what happened there at the end of the first quarter and second quarter at their place when we just turned it over all the time. I thought our guys did a really nice job of breaking that press, getting it down the floor, and getting some good looks early.
Okay. Talk a little bit about the play of Sean Mulhern. Now, he showed pretty well Friday night. Did a real nice job of helping break that press Friday night.
Yeah, and I think Sean's just, really getting comfortable and understanding and stepping up his leadership on the team, especially obviously offensively, has looked to do more. Especially, I think the Morton game gave him a lot of confidence, and he's just kind of capitalized off of that. Obviously, coming out in that up and down game against Canton, scoring, I think it was 37, and then that got a lot of guys going. And we talked about it after the game, kind of the mental approach coming into a game like Metamora, where we know that we've got to be pretty good in order to beat that team because they're a good team, versus coming into the Canton game knowing that we can win, expecting that we can win. Just for some reason, the shots have fallen easier in those games. And if you look at the scores throughout the year, that's been the case. We've really shot well in games against teams that we thought that we really had a chance at winning. So we talked about the mental approach we take into every single game. We have Limestone coming up Saturday that they got us pretty good the first time. But we talked about coming into this game, we have the expectation that we can win this basketball game because all it takes is we're going to handle the press like we did against Metamora on Friday night. We're going to knock down shots like we did against Canton on Saturday night. We're going to be in a dogfight of a basketball game with Limestone on Saturday.
Talk a little bit about the handling of that press, because that was really impressive. It's counterintuitive, but against the press like that, you kind of got to slow down a little bit, make your reads. And the kids did a really nice job. They got sped up a little bit at first, but as they realized what was happening, just you saw that calm kind of took over. Okay, we're going to swing the ball here, move the ball here.
Yeah, and I think that's indicative of early success. You get the ball down the floor, you get that first bucket, you get a couple buckets down. That kind of takes the pressure off a little bit. It's when the first couple don't go down, and then we're kind of, stressed out about it a little bit. But really, they were very calm about the way that they attacked that thing and catching it and looking opposite. And then we talked about once we get it to the second level, really attacking downhill and getting to the rim, because we realize that's, the best numbers opportunity that we're going to have. And we just talk about getting it to the second level, attacking the hoop downhill, and then getting spacing on the backside so we can drop down if they help up, which I thought we did a fair job of. We just didn't knock down enough of them early to stay intact in that game. And then as it kind of wore on, the lead just kind of festered a little bit.
Now, Saturday night, you mentioned the Canton game already. Go to Canton and put up 89 points, clearly a season high.
Sure.
And if you look at some of our scores this year, a total of 3 games might not match that 89
Absolutely,
points.
Yeah.
And as you said, it seemed like the boys just took a different confidence there, and shots started to fall.
Absolutely.
A lot of off-shot, but you get outstanding performances from Ryan Slusher, who had 17 points.
Yep.
I think the Buckleys each had like 14 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like? As a coach, do you notice anything different there? Or is it just literally that confidence where you see that start to flow through everybody?
Yeah, I think it's just that confidence level. I really do. I think it's you come into that game and you knew that we played them tough at our place, and we really played that up, that we really should have gotten one here at home against them, but they knocked down a shot in crunch time that we just couldn't get over that hump. And then we talked about it coming into the game that we owed them one, really, because we had them here at our place. And we came out and shot it well early and continued to shoot it well throughout that entire game. Like you said, Ryan Slusher knocking down shots. Jacob Burtis coming into that game and knocking down shots and taking on a bigger role. He's just, as he's been given opportunities here, carving himself out extra minutes as we've come past the Christmas break here. He started to get a little bit of a chance to roll into those games.
And you could see that coming with the youngsters on Friday night in the form of the way Hayden Burtis and Jacob Burtis and Bryce Markham all played against Metamora there in that fourth quarter.
Yep.
When you subbed in, you could definitely see that they weren't scared anymore. It was go time.
And they've done that a few times this year. They did it against Notre Dame. They came in and shot the ball real well. Did it against Washington late, where they came in and shot the ball real well in the fourth quarter for us. So that was kind of some of the conversations we've had as a staff is, some of these guys are making a case to give themselves a chance. And so we've kind of opened that up a little bit and as we have, Jacob really has stepped up and taken on a nice little role, especially in that Canton game. He knocked down a couple of big threes. He had a third one in the air that we thought was down. And he just, he's just calm and solid and doesn't really make any major mistakes. He just kind of plugs along and makes plays.
Okay. Well, Coach, Saturday night against Limestone, we wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you on the sidelines.
Yep, thank you much.
And we're back. Our thanks to Coach Wright for taping that interview on Monday. We appreciate him taking time out of his busy schedule as a dean. Up next, the girls basketball team. The girls are riding a modest 2-game winning streak, find themselves at 12-14 overall and 5-8. Big win on Tuesday night for the Raiders, won 49-48. Sarah Kurth's three-pointer with 56 seconds left proved to be the difference in that game. Courtney Potendyk, a senior who we'll hear from later on in the segment, led the way with 13 points. Michaela Reedy had 12. And Kyla Gablehausen overcame some foul trouble to almost notch a double-double at 10 points and 8 rebounds. In earlier action last Friday night, while the boys were taking on Metamora at home, the girls were at Metamora and came away with an 8-point win. In that game, Michaela Reedy led the Raiders with 17 points. Kyla Gablehausen had 13, and Sarah Kurth chipped in 12. So Jay Bowman's girls are building some momentum toward the postseason, which will begin next week. First, though, a pretty stern test Friday night as they play host to Mid-Illini Conference champion Morton in the final home game. It is senior night, so we will hear from seniors Courtney Potendyk and Nicole Montgomery here in just a bit. But please do come on out Friday night and support the Raiders as they take on Morton in what is sure to be a very tough matchup. But right now, let's hear from Coach Bowman and Courtney and Nicole and see what they have to say. I am here with Jay Bowman, girls basketball coach here at East Peoria High School. Coach, coming off a nice win over Metamora last week, 8-point win over the Redbirds at their place on a night when, they were down here for the boys' game, crowds are split. It seems like a lot of stuff could go wrong in that situation, but the girls came out with a nice win.
Yeah, they came out well. We jumped them early. We were up about 15 points halfway through the second. Got out hustled for a span there by Metamora, and they climbed back in it at one point, I believe even tying the ball game up. But called the timeout, didn't really even say much other than settle down, take a deep breath, and every time Metamora went on a little run, our girls responded, and every time it looked like it was going to tip towards Metamora's favor, somebody would step up and hit a big shot. At one point, Metamora tied it, called the timeout, Reedy came out, hit a three, got a stop defensively. Kylie Gablehausen came down, hit a three. Just helped us breathe a little sigh of relief that we pushed it right back up. So, didn't play great, but on the road, it was their senior night. They were pretty fired up. And every time they made a run, we responded. So I did tell the girls, even though we made some mistakes and we let them creep back in the game, I was proud of the way that they responded instead of panicking when things weren't going our way.
And you mentioned senior night, and of course our senior night coming up this Friday. We'll get to that in a second. But first, let's talk about 3 juniors that stepped up pretty big for you on Friday night at Metamora. Michaela Reedy going for 17, Kylie Gablehausen with 13, Sarah Kurth with 12. Talk a little about each of their efforts.
They were huge, and it was a lot of their points happened when we needed them. It wasn't easy buckets. They were we needed a big shot. First half, Kurth scored 9 of hers, I believe, had a bunch of threes, and then put her in down the stretch, and she had a big driving layup that helped bump up the lead a little bit. And then I already talked about Kylie's and Michaela Reedy's big threes. It wasn't just that they hit the shots, it's when they hit them. It took some guts to take those shots then when things aren't going real well. But, it was even beyond that. Courtney Potendyk hit some jump shots when we needed them. Allie Watson a few times didn't show up in, per se, the box score, but there were times where she got in the lane, drew defense, and kicked it for people to hit shots. So it always looks like, the other player's making the shot, but if she doesn't initiate that play, those players don't get the ball. So I thought people stepped up and made plays when they needed to. It's a big step in the right direction. Earlier in the season or even last year, things start going bad and they get real bad, whereas now we're turning the corner, we're getting better, and they don't panic as much anymore. So,
Coach, Coach, you mentioned senior night this Friday night against, who do we have this Friday?
Morton.
Morton this Friday, that's right. Obviously the Potters come in real hot. What are you looking for out of that game?
I just want to compete. When we played them at Morton, it was a 15-1 first quarter. And we were shell-shocked, and we weren't ready to go. And then we settled down, and we had it to 6 by half. And halfway through the fourth, it was a 6-point ball game. And we competed. The problem was we competed for 3 quarters instead of 4. So that game had already kind of, I won't want to say it was lost in the first, but we had a big hole that we had to try to dig out of after that first quarter. So, I want to compete. And it's always tough senior night because, your seniors are extra emotional, so you hope they still play within themselves. I mean, it's been a journey for Courtney and Pete, or Nicole Montgomery and Courtney Potendyk. But,
And let's talk about Nicole first. I mean, she was obviously part of that regional championship team as a sophomore, dressed up.
Yep.
Talk a little about her time with you. You've had her at the lower levels and then her 2 years on the varsity as well.
She's been invaluable. I mean, she's been great because, I've always called her and she always questioned why I called her, but I always called her my Swiss Army knife because she had so many tools. There were games where I've had her handle the ball for me. Games where I've had her be in the post. Sometimes she plays inside. Sometimes she plays outside. And because of that, she's a tough guard for teams because you put a post on her and we try to have her step out a little bit. You put a guard on her, we try to have her step in a little bit. And the thing is some of the stuff we asked her to do was new. And she just said, "Okay, coach," and she just whatever you need, and she did it. And she's had a great season. I mean, when we played Metamora at home the first time, we don't win that game if she's not there. I mean, she had 17 points, and they were huge baskets. I mean, she made the shot with 5 seconds left to take our first lead of the game, and so in Canton, the way she had a huge game. So she's had a real good career and a real nice season. Courtney, same thing. She been invaluable. She plays good D on bigs. She uses her length to her advantage, and her strength is we try to post her up, but her strength is every now and then if we can get a guard in the lane and she just kind of fades to the corner for that 15-footer. She's a pretty good shooter and pretty good release from there, and so she's had a real nice career too. And my thing is we keep talking, remember that regional win 2 years ago, and our season did not go real well, but we started playing well at the end of the season and got hot, and that's what it takes. It's everybody starts 0-0, and we look at it and we think if we're playing well, we're as dangerous as anybody in our regionals. So.
Well, there you go, Coach. That's Jay Bowman, the head girls basketball coach here at East Peoria High School. Coach, good luck against Morton Friday night.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you next week about what you expect out of the East Peoria Regional.
And we got Pekin tomorrow.
Oh, Pekin tomorrow, I forgot.
At Pekin, so we'd love to have some people come out. So.
All right. There you go, folks. At Pekin tomorrow, home on Friday. All right. We are here with Raiders senior basketball player Nicole Montgomery, who will celebrate senior night this Friday night when the Raiders take on Morton. Nicole, why don't you share with us your favorite basketball memory from these last 4 years?
I have to say, this year we TP'd our coach's house, BOWMAN, and he caught us in the middle of it. And
you guys seem to have problems with that because I remember McGinnis caught you guys too, and you ended up with like 12 people and Kelsey Shoemake's SUV speeding away.
Yeah.
With maybe Courtney Potendyk trailing out the tailgate or something.
Yeah, crazy times. But he caught us, and we decided to finish, and he just stood on his front porch watching us TP his house. It's probably the funniest thing ever. So, it's great.
Outstanding. Now, tell us, what do you think the rest of the season ends up looking like for you guys? I know you were part of that first regional title team back in 2011. You guys think another run? You're kind of at a similar point in the season so far.
Yeah. I think regionals look real good. We have a chance of doing real well.
All right. And looking ahead, you're all set to go to ICC to play softball. Just signed your letter of intent about a week ago.
Yep.
Got to feel pretty good to know your college choice is taken care of and done, and you're ready to go.
Excited.
What made you choose ICC?
Well, I've been going to their camps for about 6 years now, and I just got to know the team real well, and especially the coaches. Love the coaches. And everything they brought to the table, they stressed education, and that's something that's a big part for me.
All right, this is Nicole Montgomery. Come out and cheer on Friday night at senior night. And we are here with Raiders senior basketball player COURTNEY POTENDYK. COURTNEY getting ready to celebrate senior night with the other senior, Nicole Montgomery. COURTNEY, give us your favorite memory from your time with the East Peoria basketball team.
My favorite memory would be when we TP'd Coach McGinnis's house my sophomore year, and we fit about 14 people in the car, and we had to jump in the car while it was moving because he caught you,
yes.
Yes. And then TP'ing BOWMAN's house the past couple weeks.
All right. Talk a little bit about how the year has gone for you, how it's been to spend your last year here as a senior basketball player, and what you're looking for as the regional starts.
I think we've had a great year. We've worked hard as a team together, and that we haven't won as many games as we've wanted to, but we've played pretty good.
And what's the one thing you'll miss most about playing basketball at East Peoria, or just being at East Peoria?
Playing with the group of girls that I've gotten to play with.
Sorry, the correct answer would have been Mr. Diggle's U.S. history class.
No.
And we're back. We saved the best for last, folks. Last Saturday, our wrestling team went over to the Class 2A Morton Sectional. Just 1 week off coming in second at the Mid-Atlantic Conference Tournament. They reversed the tables at Morton. They beat a Washington team that had beaten them for the Mid-Atlantic Conference title, and they beat them rather handily, beat them by 20 points, 188.5 to 20.5, and they did it on the strength of 9 qualifiers for this weekend's individual sectionals at Rochelle, and they also qualified for the team dual sectionals on February 23rd at Rochelle. The Raiders had 4 individual champions, led by Lucas Joseph at 220 pounds, Drew Foster at 152, Casey McQuarter at 126 pounds, and Austin Harper at 120. Also qualifying for the sectional this weekend are Phoenix Stewart, who finished third at 106 pounds, Zach Hogan, who finished third at 113 pounds, Tony Hall qualified, finishing third at 160 pounds. Perhaps the most important finisher of the day, Jacob Lavelle, who finished third at 170 pounds and whose pin catapulted us past Washington. And finally, Cade McDonald was the runner-up at 195 pounds. So a great weekend for the wrestlers. And now we'll hear from Coach Johns as well as senior Lucas Joseph, who remains undefeated at 34-0 and nationally ranked, and junior Casey McQuarter, who was a champion as well. I am with Raiders head coach Phil Johns. And Coach, first off, congratulations on the regional title. Got to be very heartening to see the kids bounce back after the conference meet to come back and beat Washington like that.
Well, it is. I was very emotional about it. The kids, we had a strong, long talk about heart. I feel my wrestlers here at East Peoria probably had the most heart of anybody in our conference. I really believe that. Matter of fact, a lot of our last week after conference, we had a lot of psychological talks about how we got to think about what we got to do. Over in Metamora, I pulled them out in the hallway and I showed them all the regional championships. I don't know what sport, but they had all the plaques on the wall. I said, today, you take a good look at that. That's what we're working for, and that's what we're going to walk away with today. So heart had a lot to do with it. Mental's 90% of wrestling.
Sure. Talk a little bit about the efforts of the guys that brought home titles. Casey, Lucas, Drew, and I'm forgetting the fourth one off the top of my head.
Austin Harper.
Yes. Yeah.
Those guys, they all wrestled tough. They were on the finals. But not only that, the kids that got third, some of the kids that got fourth, even if they got second.
Yeah.
Everybody pulled through and got points for the team, and that's what you got to do at each weight class. You got to score. If everybody's doing that, even though it's an individual sport, it really counts in a wrestling match. Everybody's got to do their part, and that will make the team better.
Now, wrestling's kind of unique where even though you've moved on in the team tournament, you kind of put that aside for now to focus on the individuals going to sectionals and then hopefully on to state. How does that impact the team aspect of it? Does it change anything, or do you just kind of keep working? And
we're going to keep working, but we're treading some waters that is a little bit different for me. I've never dealt with the team sectional before. I know all about it, but I haven't been on a team, or I've never coached a team that's got to team sectional. So it is going to take some mental effort. And I've talked to Dr. Nagel for a little advice. He's been there. The reason I say that is because I've got to keep everybody together. Even after the state individual tournament, I got to keep everybody together, keep them training. A lot about weight cutting. People's going to have to extend their season another half a week there. Keeping everybody interested is going to be a lot of the mental game.
Okay. For you personally, what did it mean to finally break through? I said in the paper you had a 5-year plan coming in. Took a little longer than that, but what's it mean to finally break through and help this group?
What's great is the coaching staff that we have. We recruit a lot in our building, so all these kids are homegrown. There's nobody that's that I went handpicked from another school.
Right.
So I'm actually proud of the fact that these kids are from right here, and I'm not going to deviate from the workout regimes that we do. But the kids we have, they buy in and they do what they're told. What was the other part of that question? I'm sorry, I forgot.
What did it mean for you personally to be able to get to do that?
Okay. Personally, I'm here for the kids. I give 150, 200%. I'm going to do what it takes, no matter how long it takes. The 5-year plan, anybody knows, any business or sport takes 0 to 5 to make or break something. I did make a strong impact the first few years I was here. I don't know how many seconds I've got in the conference and how many seconds I've got in the regionals, but quite a few. But in the same respect, the conference in some aspects is a lot stronger.
Yeah.
It is a lot stronger. Washington, they're a lot more formidable than they used to be. They have a coach that spends a lot of time with the kids. And they're not your usual team. They're ranked 5th in the state. They're a strong team. They got some kids that live wrestling. So it's been a struggle. 1 year, Canton was super tough. My dad was a coach.
Yep.
We struggled with them a little bit. Another year, Pekin was tough. So it's kind of been, a lot of new coaches, a lot of new young blood in the conference as far as coaching. And, I think it's a little bit tougher to dominate year after year. And we've had some heartbreaks through the years with losing kids not coming out, kids hurting us like that. So this year, everything came together.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck getting these individuals through the state finals this weekend at the sectional, and best of luck getting the team sectionals.
Thank you.
All right. I am here with Raiders senior wrestler Lucas Joseph. Lucas is coming off a very successful weekend, kept his record unbeaten at 34-0, and also was a big part of the Raiders winning the team title. Lucas, first talk a little bit about your individual regional title. Headed back to state again to try and repeat your wonderful finish last year. About what you expected to get the road to state started?
I mean, those were my expectations coming in, and it's been the same the last couple of years at regionals. You got to get at it, but you got to take it one step at a time. You got to get through regionals to get the sectionals. And you got to really wrestle well at sectionals to get some momentum heading in the state. So that's what I plan to do this weekend.
With all the experience you've gained in the postseason, is it just nice to be able to kind of sit back and go, okay, this has happened. Now this, just kind of know the routine and be able to get into it and not worry too much about all the stuff going on around you?
It's still nerve-wracking. It really is. You think I'd get used to it by now, but I'm not. I mean, even Saturday I was like, so palms were sweating, being real nervous just because if you blow it here, that could set a bad taste in your mouth for the rest of the postseason. So with all the experience, it doesn't help much with the nerves.
All right. Talk a little about the success the team had this weekend. Obviously, very disappointed coming out of conference, finishing second to Washington. But to be able to kind of redeem yourselves when it counts the most and get the team title there, what did that mean to you guys?
It meant a lot. It meant a lot to us, and it meant a lot to Coach Johns and Coach Fleming and the community and the school. Really, it was something big that we talked about, and we were really going for a conference. Like you said, came in second. That was disappointing. And Coach really amped up the practices this week or last week, and gave us some motivational talks, and that was probably we came together as a team that week more than we had all year, really supporting each other during practice.
And you mentioned Coach Johns and Coach Fleming having wrestled for them for so long, for these last 4 years. What did that mean to be able to get them that regional title and kind of sharing that success with them?
It meant a ton. I mean, they're honestly like, my uncles or, Coach Wayne's a little young, maybe my older brother, but it meant a ton, to get that to them. But they, they wanted it for us at the same time, so it was nice because they were fighting for it, we were fighting for it, we were all on the same team.
All right, and last thing, we're asking all the seniors this week. Obviously, we'll pass senior night for you guys, but we're starting to wrap up the winter season. Favorite memory of all your years spent here wrestling at East Peoria High School?
Oh, the bus ride back from Quincy tournament my sophomore year.
Are there any legal stories we can tell out of that bus ride?
Coach Johns was just he was funny that driving back. He doesn't trust the Garmin. And so the Garmin told us to turn left, and we were already turning left, and Coach John said, "I'm not listening to this thing," and he whipped it back across, and we went straight instead, and got home eventually.
All right. Well, Lucas, we wish you the best of luck this weekend, and best of luck getting the whole team out of sectionals in a couple weeks on the 19th, I believe, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the Assembly Hall again.
Thank you very much.
We are here with Raider wrestler Casey McWhorter. Casey won the 126-pound title at the Morton Regional this week and was a big part of helping the Raiders to the team title as well at Morton. Casey, first talk about the regional title for yourself at 126 and what that meant for you.
Winning regionals, this is the second time I've won regionals. And it was big because winning regionals means you get a bye on Saturday at sectionals. And that's really important if you want to go far into the sectional tournament, is to be able to watch two people wrestle to wrestle you. So that was a big part. And then I beat the kid I wrestled in the semifinals was from Washington, and he beat me earlier in the year, so that was a big win for me. And then the kid I wrestled in the finals, I beat him twice before, but had pretty close matches, and then I beat him pretty bad in the finals. So it's a big confidence builder going into next week.
And what do you take away from last year winning the regional as an individual now to this year that you can kind of apply and look ahead?
Well, I feel like last year after I won regionals, I was in sectionals. I kind of got a little cocky and kind of, I don't know, was too sure of myself that I was going to make it out. And I feel like this year I'm a little more calm, going to do a little bit better than last year.
Talk a little about the team title. That had to be a great feeling. Conference was here. Probably a huge disappointment for you guys not to come out on top over Washington, but now to get them when it matters most. That's got to feel pretty good.
At conference, we had a couple kids that we were really planning on scoring a lot of points, and they just didn't score, so that kind of hurt us. And then when we got to regionals, we knew we were going to get some help from Peoria and Peoria Notre Dame, and I don't know, it just worked in our favor, I guess.
How good did it feel to help Coach Johns get that first title here?
Oh, Coach Johns was ecstatic. I was really excited. It was really a great feeling. The Washington fans, they were getting all riled up, and there was nothing they could do about it, and it was all sealed up. It was great.
All right. Well, the one thing this does is extend the wrestling season way down the road for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, not only do you have the individuals now, but you got to wait till February 19th, I believe, for the team sectionals. So that gives you guys some extra time to get some work in as well.
Yep. Dual sectionals is the week after individual state, and it's that Tuesday.
And then, of course, wrestling for a chance to go over to Bloomington at the state finals. So.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be a lot of fun. Right now, the three teams that we could wrestle on Tuesday are Sycamore, which is ranked number 2, Yorkville, ranked number 6, and then Geneseo, who's like 10th. Okay. So, 3 tough teams, but I don't know, if we wrestle like we did on Saturday, we could definitely make it down to Bloomington on the next Sunday, or Saturday.
Outstanding. Well, Casey, best of luck to you. Again, this has been Casey McWhorter, one of our Raider wrestlers. He'll be representing East Peoria this weekend at the sectional level. And we wish Casey good luck and hope he advances to the state finals. And we're back for the last time. We thank you for joining us this week. It's another busy week in Raider athletics. Please be sure to join us Friday night as the girls take on Morton here at home, 7:30 start time. And then come on back Saturday if you haven't gone to Rochelle for the wrestling sectional. And join us as the boys take on Limestone here at home. They will be facing off in that game starting at 6 p.m. So come on out, support the Raiders this weekend. Pair of big games, and if you can get to Rochelle to support the boys in the wrestling sectional, all the better. Once again, I'm Ben Diggle with the Raider Sports Report. Go Raiders.